Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? I'm not going to take up too much of your time, just enough to make my point. But so our project started here is that we wanted to be able to pretty much use the idea of radio waves. Either and our choice was to use Bluetooth waves. So we wanted to be able to collect data from different points with with an efficient amount of power and with a lot of different deployable units. And so we wanted to be able to collect small amounts of data, kind of like Google. But on our point, we wanted to collect stuff like temperature, light, and stuff. So our presentation here by me and my brother. I'm Jonathan. Should have started off with that. And my brother here, Jose. So.
Okay. And on this project that we did, we were mainly focusing on trying to monitor and send information through small endpoints like these right here. And we want to do this through like a very long distance of 10 to 100 meters. So for all you Americans out there, that's about 30 to about 300 feet. And we also wanted to do this while using as very little as energy consumption as possible so that you're not draining a lot of your electric bill.
And as you can see here, here's a diagram of how it's supposed to work. Each node tinkles down to the main core, which is our base station receiving station, powered by an Arduino, and then finally feeding information to our laptops. It starts from the far out as kind of like a tree, the roots of a tree. The single nodes would collect all the data and start transmitting it down to the station, and eventually we gather the data. And later in the presentation, we'll show you the data that we'll collect.
Okay, and a lot of the components that we use, we mainly base this off of the XBee 802.15 instead of the 802.11 because 11 that is basically Wi-Fi and 15 that is using the radio. And right here is also another main component is the temperature sensor right here. And this is what basically allowed us to collect a lot of information that we needed. And we kind of used solar panels because we want to use as little energy as possible, so we want to use natural resources to be able to power up. And then we use these small transformers right here so that it won't short fuse our little XBees or the batteries when we try to charge them. Now, in terms of what we can apply this to, we can use this to detect a lot of different things from light, sound, humidity, carbon dioxide, radiation, and mainly temperature, like we're focusing on today. Now, something similar like this has been done at Purdue University, where a group of graduate students, they want to see that there are some irregularities in their ventilation system, in which a lot of energy was going towards it and not enough airflow was being produced from it. And so they sent a bunch of small nodes similar to these, not exactly, but you get the idea. And they sent them in there and they discovered that a lot of the airflow was being drifted off to only one side and not enough to where it's split evenly. And so what they did is they went through a 3D model and were able to build some slits so that way they can get the airflow to go, and they saved their school about $250,000 per year on electricity.
And so we kind of had a few difficulties, starting with the structure of the layout that we decided to use, which was our home. And depending on where we position some of the nodes would actually interfere with the signal. So instead of getting a longer range, the maximum range is when it has nothing but side of view. It's just straight. There's nothing in the way. But once you start adding walls, pipes, and all the different materials, then you start getting different types of interferences, and that can interfere with it receiving its data. And we also had a few difficulties as we started adding more nodes to the code and to our application. We started having difficulties. It no longer responded correctly. We couldn't receive information correctly, and so we had to work through that.
Now, for solutions, we kind of had a couple of issues with the programming and stuff. So what we mainly did was kind of create a couple of if statements and for loops to try to get it to relay the amount of like data collection that we needed within a certain time frame. So what we set up was, I believe, 15 seconds for
6 seconds. Sorry.
6 seconds, and then we wanted to like get a clear depiction of how much like each room temperature gauges throughout like the from daytime through the evening and later at night. And we also had some issues with trying to connect multiple end nodes. And so what we did was we kind of had to like channel them through like the same, we had to put them in the same channel. And we also had to change where it kind of like, it verified that we had to first initialize like a verification saying that they're connecting, here we go. And from talking from the endpoint talking to the base site, to the base, yeah.
And we have just a little short clip that I would like to demonstrate in which we were receiving the temperatures.
Now, as you can see, Sony Movie Studio is a really good tool because over the holiday season, we had a lot of family members who came from Mexico. As you can tell, a lot of the other world uses Celsius. And so we kind of adjusted to that, and mistakenly we put Celsius instead of Fahrenheit. But as you can see, like throughout the day, well, yeah, this is just a collection of what we did earlier. But at certain points, like you will see jumps. This was over a collection.
I went over and messed with one of the sensors. I blew my air onto it and it increased one of the sensors, and that's what we were receiving. Yeah.
And then as a little final take from this, what we discovered in our in the house that we were trying to project this to was that in a certain room, a lot of in each room we kind of insulated so that one temperature from one room wouldn't affect from the other one. And so what we did is we kind of noticed that there was a lower dip over the night in temperature in one room. And so we kind of figured that right there was a weak spot where it needed a lot more insulation. And from there, we sought out that we need to insulate it more so that we don't spend a lot of money on gas
Heating.
trying to heat the house a lot. And that's pretty much
That's it, folks.
yeah.